Good morning, guys. Thought I'd bring you guys a daily tip for today on 5 tips on how to beat boredom and to stay mentally active while you're sitting in a tree stand for all day sits. Because sometimes you're not going to see as much deer activity as you're truly looking for. Number one is to bring a book. Bring some kind of e-reader or your Android, some kind of phone that you can read a Bible, read a book on, and keep your mind sharp. Number two is to stay observant and to keep a journal. And what I mean by that and keeping a journal is keep a journal how the weather is on this day. Keep a journal on how many deer you saw, how was the deer movement, how was your wind blowing, and then keep it for a yearly calendar so you can look back at it next year and be able to look at it and observe how the deer movement is comparable date to date. A lot of time we see some of our best activities on the same days as we did the years before. Number three is to practice mental exercises like engaging in mental activities of counting every squirrel or seeing how far each tree is from one another. If it's bow season, look for different ranges, how far it, take a guess how far it is. Then get your rangefinder out. Then look and see if you're correct. Number four is experiment with calling techniques. Now, I don't advise that all the time throughout the years, but if you know where you're hunting at and you know that a buck can't get downwind of you, go ahead and practice some calling techniques, because there are going to come times when a buck's running away from you and you can be able to draw him back in by grunting or by hitting a doe bleed or rattling sometimes. But don't do that just all the time. Don't be just making all kinds of calls, because a young buck, you'll teach a young buck that you're a hunter if you keep calling all the time. And just to practice those things when the time gets right. And number five is to practice visualization of how the deer are going to come to you. If it happens this way, if they come in from behind me, how am I going to get my bow? How am I going to get my gun? If you're filming, how am I going to rotate my camera around so I can get it? Figure out different paths of looking at where the deer can get to and where they can't, and just formulate a plan. Those are my 5 tips on how to stay active and beat boredom in the tree stand.